Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Excellent. Good morning. My name is Barbara Randolph. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Chicago, in person and at home. I am a proud member of the Lifespan Religious Education Council here, and a very, very proud member of the First U Chancel Choir, whom you just heard, and we'll hear some more of later. And I'm honored to lead you in worship this morning with Liz McCreeless Cresslan, our wonderful Lifespan Religious Education Director, Adam Odell, who's buzzing around here, our music director, our choir, our chancel choir, and there will be other members of our congregation who will come forward and share some personal life stories as well. And if I forgot anyone else, I apologize. Anyway, so First Unitarian Church has been a home for progressive religion in Chicago and beyond since 1836. The church sits on the western shore of Lake Michigan, south of the Chicago River. We honor the indigenous peoples for whom these are unceded ancestral homelands, as well as the diverse and vibrant indigenous American communities who make their home on the western shore here today. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children,
are unceded
and adults,
ancestral
a
homelands,
people
as well as the diverse
and
and
traditions
vibrant
bound
indigenous
not
American
by the
communities.
specific
Sitting on the western shore of Lake Michigan, we are a Chicago we honor the indigenous people whose genes
whether you
are
just stepped into
unceded
this church for the first
ancestral
time,
homelands,
anyone, first
as
time,
well as the diverse and vibrant
thank you, or the thousands of times,
sitting on the western shore of Lake Michigan,
whether
we
you
are a Chicago.
believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. No matter your race or who you love or how much money you do or don't have, you are welcome here. And we have a couple of announcements this morning. Our first announcement comes from Cheryl Wagner, our current First U Board President. Can we give a round of applause? It's a big job.
Good morning. Thank you for that introduction, Barbara. I am board president, but more importantly, this month, I am among those planning a Thanksgiving service. Yes, it is November, and we're thinking about Thanksgiving. We didn't make it into the e-blast this week, but I wanted to let everyone know that we are planning our Thanksgiving service. It will be Saturday, November 23rd, from around 6 to 9. It will be a catered dinner, and tickets will be on sale after church starting today and for the next 2 Sundays, cash, card, or check. And if you're on Zoom regularly, just email me and let me know. We all know that things have gotten really expensive in the last couple of years, and unfortunately, this catered dinner is no exception. Before everyone gets a sticker shock, I wanted to alert you all that we are going to have to charge $30 for a space for a meal. However, I also want to say that people in our congregation have always generously bought extra tickets, donated money, in order to make it possible for everyone to come. If you are looking at this $30 announcement, and believe me, I had a moment, and thinking, I can't do it, please do it. If it is too steep, please have a word with Reverend Dave or with me, because we can help with that. I hope that everyone who wants to come will come. I just want to say that we have never turned anyone away for Thanksgiving service, and we don't plan to begin this year. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Cheryl. I know a lot of hard work goes into planning that event, and I just wanted to also make sure that I'm highlighting what is going on this week, as well as taking the moment on this Lifespan Religious Education Sunday to highlight something that is coming up in our religious education programs. This week, on Wednesday, we will be, well, on Tuesday, we obviously all know what is coming up. Don't forget to vote if you haven't already and you want to do that. On Wednesday, we will be having a post-election gathering at 4 p.m. here in the sanctuary with our worship team, Reverend Dave, myself, Adam. And it's just will be a space to be together and to talk and share and reflect a little bit on whatever it is that may happen this week and wherever we all may be feeling with that on Wednesday. A chance to be together here at 4 p.m. on Wednesday in the sanctuary, immediately followed by our community meal on Wednesday, our monthly first Wednesday community meal at 6 p.m. in Chris Moore Parlor. All are welcome, no cost. Come on through for dinner. After the service today, so today is Lifespan Religious Education Sunday. We're all here together. We're all ages, a community of children, youth, and adults, as we say every week. And there are many ways to get involved with our RE programs for children, youth, and adults. After the service today, we will have some information out during coffee hour about some of the different ways to do that. One that I wanted to highlight that many of you may not have heard about is a program that we would like to be offering for our 7th to 9th graders come second semester starting in January. It's called Crossing Paths. It's an interfaith learning experience where we learn about our own tradition of Unitarian Universalism, and we learn about other religious traditions, about Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, and we could use some guides to help us teach this. This is going to be a project that our new youth leader, Liz Tolbert, and I are going to be working on together, and we could use some co-teachers to join us for the ride. So we were trying to get a team together, and on Saturday, November 16th, 2 weeks from yesterday, we are going to have an introduction session on Zoom for people who might be willing to spend 1 hour of their Saturday morning, 10 to 11 a.m., that Saturday, November 16th, learning a little bit more about what it would look like to teach and learn together with some of our youth about world religions and about our world and the meaning that we all make of it. So if that sounds like a great team to join and an interesting opportunity for you, please give that some thought, and the sign-up sheet for the intro session will be available in Chris Moore Parlor after the service, and I would love to talk to you more about it if you're curious. Thank you. That concludes my announcements.
Thank you so much, Cheryl and Liz. It is good to be together today. Now we will have the chalice lighting and the reading of the covenant, and Lacey Edwards, one of our wonderful RE teachers, will read the covenant, and she will ask you to say it with her, please.
If you'd like to join me in reading the covenant as we light the chalice. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another.
Our opening song this morning is Lead with Love. Please rise as you are able for the singing. We will begin, I will sing the chorus, and then we'll start singing the chorus together. And then there will be a call and response section of short little tunes. So be looking for me to point at you. When my hand goes out, that is your turn to sing. So please rise in body or spirit. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Look up ahead.
Look up ahead.
The path is there.
The path is there.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
And I'm scared too.
And I'm scared too.
But here I am.
But here I am.
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Thank you. You may be seated.
So as I was saying, today is Lifespan Religious Education Sunday, and we are wearing our hats today. We are all together in the sanctuary today. We are appreciating our Lifespan Religious Education team throughout the service today. That is me. We've got a new member, Elizabeth. We've got our teacher, Lacey, who is with our preschool to grade 1 class most Sundays, who read our covenant. We've got our council represented with our worship associate, Barbara Randolph. So we appreciate our whole team. Special shout out to the nursery folks who are hanging out with the littles over there in the Pennington building right now. We appreciate them too, even if it's too much for them to come in here with the littles. Yeah, so today's Lifespan Religious Education Sunday, we are doing much more than just appreciating our staff team, because Lifespan Religious Education is about everything that we do here together at First Unitarian. And it's not just those of us wearing the hats who are involved in it. Today we are celebrating the fact that we get to be here together, learning and growing every day throughout our whole lives, right? Up here in the chancel, the choir knows what I'm about to say. Up here in the chancel, we have some relief art on either side that you may or may not have noticed. We have a baby's face and a skull and some palm leaves. And I once said that I wanted those as the logo for our Lifespan Religious Education program, and the person I was talking to said to me, "That's so metal." And I was like, maybe so. But what Joan Peterson told me when she first showed me those is that they're there on either side of the chancel. They are bookending the space here where we meet for worship every Sunday, because they represent that what we do here in church, what we have in this space of community, is a space to be here together through all the ages and stages, everything that comes between those two bookends of birth, and death. We are here for it all the ups and downs, all the learning, growing, healing, the ages and stages, the joys and sorrows. We are here for everything that happens between that, within the life of a person, within the life of each of us. And that's a really special thing about church, right? Is that we are here with people who are in all those different ages and stages. That's different from like a school, from your classroom, probably different from many jobs that many of us may be at. Maybe not every job, maybe some jobs you're with different age groups, but some jobs you might be mostly around peers. Some places you live, you might mostly be around peers. So here at church is one of the special places where we all come together at different points of life. And all of us gathered here together in the sanctuary and those at home on Zoom, we have all been through or hope to go through each of those stages of life. And each of our journey looks totally different. We are each an individual with a unique story. And even each story is going to be unique even from our peers who are the same age, right? But here at church, there's also so much value in having many different peers who are different from us, who believe different things, who have different experiences, and having people who are especially have gone through those stages at much different points in time and in history. There's so much value in that. So today we're celebrating learning and growing together, and we're reflecting on the many things we share in common and the many ways that we're also different from each other. And with that, I have a quote for us from Maya Angelou, who we're going to be talking about more in today's service. It's a quote from Maya Angelou, a quote about home, about belonging, and the unique story that will be each of our lives. She wrote, Thomas Wolfe warned in the title of America's great novel that you can't go home again. I enjoyed the book, but I never agreed with the title. I believe that one can never leave home. I believe that one carries the shadows, the dreams, the fears and dragons of home under one's skin at the extreme corners of one's eyes, and possibly in the gristle of the earlobe. Home is that youthful region where a child is the only real living inhabitant. Parents, siblings, and neighbors are mysterious apparitions who come and go, who do strange, unfathomable things in and around the child, the region's only enfranchised citizen. Geography, as such, has little meaning to the child observer. If one grows up in the Southwest, the desert and open skies are natural. New York, with the elevators and the subway rumble and millions of people. Southeast Florida, with its palm trees and sun and beaches, are natural to the children of those regions, the way the outer world is, has been, and will always be. Since a child cannot control their environment, she has to find her own place, a region where only she lives and no one else can enter. I am convinced, wrote Maya Angelou, I am convinced that most people do not grow up. We find parking spaces and honor our credit cards. We marry and dare to have children and call that growing up. I think what we do is mostly grow old. We carry accumulation of years in our bodies and on our faces, but generally our real selves, the children inside, are still innocent and shy as magnolias. We may act sophisticated and worldly, but I believe we feel safest when we go inside ourselves and find home, a place where we belong, a place where we belong, and maybe the only place we really do. Come, let us worship.
Our censoring hymn today will be number 131 in the gray hymnal, Love Will Guide Us. Again, that is number 131 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit for the singing. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace inside us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
As you all heard from our worship associate, we have some stories prepared from folks today who are ready to share things that they've learned. That's the prompt that I gave. I invited folks today to share something that they've learned recently, and we'll see what we might hear. We'll see what we might learn today. And I'm gonna potentially, let me see what happens if I bravely ask to potentially put people on the spot to see if they might be ready to go. Linda, would you be ready to go second instead of later? Amazing. Okay, let's do that. So I invite forward Liz Lund to share our first, and I've invited our guests to share an item that represents the learning that they'll be telling us about. So we are gonna start. This is Liz Lund, and she's gonna tell us something that she's learned recently.
All right, hello. So I was thinking about a family that taught me some things about generosity. I had a student who always wanted to share everything that she had. So she would bring in these really weird lunches. It would be like leftover movie popcorn and like a mango. And she'd just want to share it with like all her friends. And she was always like, try this, it's really good. So even if it was like stale popcorn, you'd be like, okay, great, like I believe you, like let me take some. So eventually I figured out a couple of things. I figured out that her dad never had enough money. And I also figured out that he was the same way. He'd share like anything he had. So one time I gave her a ride home, which is only like 6 blocks. And before I could pull away, she like came running out and she gives me like a Go-Gurt. And she's like, my dad wanted to thank you for giving me a ride home. So I had this strawberry Go-Gurt. So like giving away whatever you have, that's a very basic like Christian concept, but I didn't really get that growing up, I guess. I think like whenever my parents gave anything away, it was very like structured. They tithed exactly 10% of their income every single week. If we brought something to a potluck, it was very like nice and homemade. So I don't remember them ever like spontaneously giving anything away or like ever needing anything from anyone else. And I think I kind of got the impression that if I was going to offer something to somebody, it had to be like good enough. And if I couldn't reach that standard, then like I either kind of felt bad about it or I just didn't even offer. So something about that Go-Gurt just like clicked with me. It was like, it wasn't nice. There was no reason I'd want a Go-Gurt. It was clearly just like the first thing like they put their hands on in the fridge. But it was like really lovely, right? Just like, okay, cool, great, I got this Go-Gurt. So I've been trying to keep that in mind. These days it can be really hard for me to like live up to the standard in my head. So I'm going to party, I can't manage to get to the store to buy a bottle of wine, but I can bring like the 3 beers and a half of watermelon that's in my fridge. Or, I can't invite somebody to a movie, but I can invite them over to my house and be like, hey, do you want some leftover Thai food? So that's what I'm trying to keep in mind. I had 10 minutes before church, so I bought some very average granola bars, and I have those with me. I'll leave them up here and also bring them to coffee hour if anyone wants a very average granola bar.
Amazing, thank you so much. What a good lesson. All right, and then let's go to Linda. Yeah, I wasn't sure what order we were ready to go in today, so I'm just trying to respect where everybody's at, and it sounded like Linda was ready, so let's go.
I'm as ready as I'm getting. So my story is about my mom, Frances Terrell Cherney, who passed away at the age of 97. She grew up during the Depression, and she was the oldest of 4, and she was the only girl. So she had 3 younger brothers. And her father was a Presbyterian minister, and he was pretty renowned. So as a very young child, my mother would accompany her father, the minister, to church on Sundays and sit alone in one of the front pews while her mom took care of the 3 little boys at home. Now I can hear myself. I believe that this is part of where she learned to be the stoic and non-emotional, self-controlled, and often judgmental mom that I knew when I was growing up. In addition to caring for me and my siblings, which she did a very good job physically of all of that, and I appreciate that, she was a creative and contributing member of our community, and she always wanted to help others. So she was always out there helping everybody. She was the doer. So being raised by this proud, stoic, non-emotional parent taught me and my siblings many helpful lessons. And some that, as anyone raised by a fellow human being knows, that I continue to recover from throughout my whole lifetime. However, at the age of 90, the transition to not being in charge was very challenging. When my siblings and I took her car keys away at 90, she resisted firmly that her driving instructor from 70 years ago had told her that she was the best driver he'd ever seen. Losing control was so hard for her that at one point she did not want to live. However, the plan was that she would keep living. So this is where my greatest lesson came from her, which was she retained her helpful role by her grace and gratefulness in accepting the change and allowing herself
to let go of being the one in charge. So she gracefully and gratefully accepted that she could do nothing for herself and that she needed to receive all this help that she'd given and just let go. And the workers at her, where she was living her last days, absolutely loved her. And she was always bright and smiling and grateful, and, you know, grateful that they washed her behind. She would thank them for all that, you know. So anyway, I've had lots of changes in my life, and I'm sure there are more to come. And so I'm kind of inspired by her willingness to let go.
Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful story and wisdom from your family, Linda. We appreciate everyone who is brave enough to come up here and share these stories just as examples of the wisdom that's in the room. Of course, each of us has stories that are just as wise and valuable. And so with that, I invite you to stand and warmly greet your neighbor.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Hi. Hi.
Can I say
Oh, here. Okay.
good morning?
Hi
Good
there.
morning. Not many people in church today.
They got wore out at the Halloween party, perhaps.
Just a minute.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Maybe we're confused about the time.
Not many people in church today.
They got wore out at the Halloween party, perhaps.
Well, right. I heard it was terrific.
Good morning. Good morning. Morning.
Good morning. Time change too.
Maybe we're confused about the time.
Not many people in church
They got wore out at the Halloween party, perhaps.
Well, right.
today.
Something's terrific.
Good morning. Good morning.
Time changing.
Good morning.
Maybe we're confused about the time.
Not many people. They got wore out
Shit.
at the Halloween party.
Something's wrong about the sound.
Yeah, does someone have a radio on or something?
It sounds as though we're being repeated. No?
Or someone wants to speak?
Something's wrong about the sound.
Yeah, does someone have a radio on or something?
It sounds as though we're being repeated.
Okay, I'm giving up and I'm gonna mute.
Bye-bye. We'll
Bye.
see you afterwards.
Yeah.
It's about time for our offering, and Maya Angelou has a quote for everything. So here is another quote from Letter to My Daughter. To write about giving to a person who is naturally generous reminds me of a preacher passionately preaching to the already committed choir. I am encouraged to write on, however, because I remember that from time to time, the choir does need encouraging, need to be uplifted and thanked for its commitment. Those voices need to be encouraged to sing again and again with even more emotion. Every single American giver keeps alive the American Cancer Society, the Red Cross, American Jewish Society, NAACP, and the Urban League, and so it is here at First Unitarian. Each gift and each giver of time, talent, and treasure are what keep us in this community alive, and our offering is gratefully received. Thank you. Here each week we lift up the joys and the sorrows of our community, and I have to be transparent with you. There is an online form to submit those joys and sorrows, and I do not have access to it this week. So if you submitted one online and I don't include it, then please accept my apologies. Know that it was not an intentional omission to overlook your joy or your sorrow that you shared, and we will work harder to make sure that the leaders always can lift those up publicly in worship that you submit via the online form. But I will generally, we are here together to share the joys and the sorrows of our lives, to support each other who are going through pain, who have gone through loss, who are going through trials and tribulations of all kinds, to share the joys and expand the joy contagiously from each of our lives when we have fun together, sharing music, sharing love, sharing warm greetings. And we are also here to share the joys and the sorrows of the world that may weigh heavy on our hearts, to keep in our minds and our hearts those who do not have shelter, who do not have enough food, those who are suffering from war and violence, whether very far away or just down the street. And this week in particular, to share together with all those who may feel some trepidation about the next phase of our country and what that may look like, where our country and our world may be going in the future. We hold space for that here today as well. And I share two joys from our community specifically. I share one that was written today, joys for friends and friendships, old and new. And I also understand that it is our music director, Adam Odell's birthday coming up. So a joy for that. Happy birthday, Adam.
Will you help us sing happy birthday to Adam?
Let's sing. Good thing he encouraged us about that last week. We hold all of these joys and sorrows together, all of these spoken and all of those which we hold unspoken in our hearts. We are here together through all of it. Had to check what was coming next. And with that, let's hear some more of those wonderful stories and wisdom that we are here together to share and to appreciate. The next person who I'm going to invite forward is Mr. Amos Biggers. Would you have some wisdom to share with us? It's also okay, we're going to model that it's okay to say, no, Liz, I forgot, like.
I didn't forget. Should I speak here? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so. I got you. Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Because I'm terrible at holding a mic. So, when I agreed to do this with Liz and she reached out to me, and the whole idea was, hey, pick someone from a different generation that you've learned something from and bring an item to share. So the person that I've learned, the person I'm going to speak to and speak about is my nephew, Ian Demas, who is a millennial. And the item I like to share, not really, but is my wallet. And what I've learned in speaking with him, a millennial, is all the struggles and how difficult it is to, advance, the personal advancement that all the previous generations have sought so easily. Like, for example, when me as a Gen Xer, when I made up my mind that I'm leaving New York and I'm moving to Florida after going on vacation there for several years, and a bunch of me and my friends said, we're moving. In 1 year, I paid off my student loans, saved money, a few $1,000s, booked a plane, and I left. My mom, who I don't know what generation she is, she's not a boomer, but she's that generation before. When she came to this country from Costa Rica, her aunt, my great aunt, had been in the United States since like the 40s from Jamaica. And she just had this plan, my great aunt, that she was going to work a second job cleaning houses in Harlem and in Brooklyn so that she can bring her nieces and nephews to the States from Costa Rica. In a year, the first three came. And in speaking with my nephew, he's always like, you know, we can't do this, my generation can't do this, we can't do that, we just can't, you know, we can't buy homes, even though he has a home, but he's speaking about all his other friends. And it's like, yeah, that's right. You know, you're not paying off your student loan in a year like I did, right? And you probably don't have an aunt or an uncle that's just going to jet set you over to where it is you want to be in a year. So that lesson is that it's quite difficult for that generation, and we should be a little easier on them. But don't share your wallet with them.
Share the wisdom, not the wallet. All right. And we're gonna give the closing word to Ms. Madeira. Do you want me to bring it to you, or you want to come up and show us? Come up and show us. I love that. Thank you.
Coming to First Unitarian Church was the greatest gift I've ever given to myself. I've had a lifetime of friendships, and I don't have to ask for help in this church. People just offer. I'm learning to ask for help. It's the hardest lesson when you've been independent all your life, to have to ask for help. And one of the joys of getting older was other people know who you are. I came out of my building every day with a cane, and one of my neighbors who lived above me said she watched me do this for at least a year. And she said, she came downstairs that day and she said, wait a minute, I'm going upstairs to get something for you. What in the world could that be? She gave me this walker. I don't know that woman's name to this day. I hugged and kissed her, and she walked away. That's love. And I've been paid back so many, many times. Thank you for being First Unitarian Church. I can't get over what life changed, how life changed for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that rich story. She told that to me, and I was like, well, we need to include that. So, yes. I now invite forward Elizabeth Tolbert for our reading.
Good morning, everyone. I am Liz Tolbert. I am the new religious education coordinator and the Open Spark Youth Group leader. So I look forward to working with everyone and meeting you all, so please stay for coffee today. I am going to read a message to my daughter by Maya Angelou. So here we go. I have made many mistakes and no doubt will make more before I die. When I have seen pain, when I have found my ineptness, has caused displeasure. I have learned to accept my responsibility and to forgive myself first, then to apologize to anyone I injured by my misreckoning. Since I cannot unlive history, and repentance is all I can offer God, I have hopes that my sincere apologies were accepted. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud. Do not complain. Make every effort to change the things you do not like. If you cannot make a change, change the way you have been thinking. You might find a new solution. Never whine. Whining lets a brute know that a victim is in the neighborhood. Be certain that you do not die without having done something wonderful for humanity. Thank you.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land, marching up to freedom land, marching up to freedom land, marching up to freedom land. Ooh.
How wonderful. I'm going to address first, for a moment, I'm going to speak to any children who are in the room, because it says in your order of service, message for all ages, right? And most weeks there's a time for all ages, and I sometimes invite young folks forward to the front. And this message for all ages I'm going to give from the lectern, and I want to speak about that for one moment, because I think when I call folks up to the front for the time for all ages, like I'm usually talking right to you young folks, right? And we're all there together, and that's nice because plenty of stuff that happens in this room ends up being targeted at the adults, right? So it's nice to have our special little moment, but I am going to give this message for all ages from the lectern for two reasons. One reason is to invite the younger folks to see that people from here could be speaking right to you as well, not just when we're on the floor, but also the flip side of that. I want to say that if you younger folks or any of you older folks were thinking that when I invite the young folks forward there on the floor that I'm speaking only to them, that is definitely not my intention. The message for all ages is definitely a message for all of us. So I wanted to just bring that to the fore of our attention today. So today we're thinking about lifelong learning, and I brought in Maya Angelou because she is someone who has had a lot of different careers over her life. She's done a lot of different things. She tried being a cook, a dancer, an activist, a journalist, a writer, a director, a producer, a professor, a poet. How many careers can one woman have, right? She thought it was never too late to try something different, to try something new. And she said, life has been long, but believing that life loves the liver, I have dared to try many things, trembling, but daring still. And I think about that when I think about the other reading that Liz Tolbert read, the idea that we can decide not to be reduced to the events that happen to us. We do not have to be defined or reduced to, defined by the events that happen to us. We are not defined by the bad or the scary or the uncontrollable things that happen to us, by our failures, by our mistakes, by our suffering. If we have failed, we can always choose to try again or try something new. If we have made a mistake, as one of the children's religious education classes wrote into their classroom covenant, we can repair it, we can fix mistakes. And if we are suffering, we can acknowledge this, and yet we can also allow ourselves to be more than the pain. We are also not defined by the good things. We're not defined by our joys, our accomplishments. If we've become known for a skill or a passion, if we're known as the best soccer player or the expert physicist, we always have a choice of what we do with that. And as Maya Angelou showed us, it's never too late to try something completely new. And while we are not reduced to the events of our lives, we do learn and grow from each one. And that is exactly what makes each of us unique. We have a unique combination of experiences and learnings that give us a unique wisdom and perspective that we can offer the world, whether we've been here on earth for 3 years or 93 years. And for that reason, I always try to cultivate an attitude of curiosity about others. And I find that talking to others who are different from myself, especially someone in a different life stage, it's always guaranteed that you'll learn something new. So we've heard, and I think that's been the case today, right? We've heard from a number of friends of different ages and stages, amazing stories and wisdom that, as I said, is just a sample of the wisdom that is in the room today. And that is what's so special about church, that we can be all together through life to support each other, to learn from each other's wisdom, and just to be. So today I have 3 invitations for you. First, look around, really take in the value of each of the other people in this room right now, whether you know them or not. Each has stories undoubtedly as valuable as those we heard today. Second, seek out an opportunity to support someone who's in a different life stage from you. That support could look so many different ways, whether it's just lending a listening ear, whether it's accompanying them, which is a fancy way of saying doing things together and being together, checking that they have what they need, whether they might need a walker, whether they might need a break from holding the baby while they get something to eat, whether they might need some tutoring or a ride somewhere. Check in with people around you to see that the parents, that the grandparents, that the children, that the youth have what they need, have the listening and caring support that they need in life. And see as well, the third invitation for you is to see what you can gain from that exchange as well. See if you can find an opportunity this week to deeply listen to someone of a different generation in a different life stage. See if when your grandparent is telling you a story, if you can come up with an additional extra question that you might ask them about it, or your neighbor, or your young nephew, or your fellow First U community member. When you are talking to someone, see what extra curiosity you could push to take that exchange a little bit deeper and see what wisdom they might have to offer you if you just offer your calm presence and listening ear. There are many opportunities at First U to do this. So I emphasize again that after worship, you can come by our table and see there's plenty of opportunities for listening, holding space, plenty of opportunities for teaching, for learning, for sharing skills and expertise that each of us have. So we would all love to talk to you more about ways that you can do that here, but there's lots of also ways to do that in the world. There's lots of people in the world who could use a listening ear, who could use a supportive, caring friend, who could use just a little more empathy and understanding. Because when we encounter each other, we can remember, as Maya Angelou said, that behind a stranger's face, we really might find a friend. And the way that we'll do that is through listening to each other and through being together in love.
Our closing hymn for today will be in the blue hymnal, number 1010, We Give Thanks. That's number 1010, We Give Thanks. Please rise in body or spirit for the singing.
Far away, for this time we share with love and care. We give thanks for this precious day. We give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away. Time we share with love and care. We give thanks for this precious day.
As we go from this place, we give thanks for this time we share together, for the care that we can offer each other in even such a small thing as noticing somebody nearby who needed a hymnal to sing from and handing it to them, looking out for the needs of those around you, of looking out for what you have to offer and what you might have to receive from others. I invite us to go into this world this week expecting that behind each stranger's face could be a friend, and in fact, maybe is a friend. And let's go forth and turn those strangers to friends day by day together. Go in peace.